Check 1 2, check, check, check. Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. We have a little bit of catch-up from last week, a few messages that I received after the program. Thank you, Phil, meaning Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, who was on the program on Friday. Thank you, Phil, for sharing this morning, and glad you mentioned the battery mining and child labor issues. Funny how this is ignored when they all play the safety card. Next, these are from the viewers. As always, you can reach out. Oh, wow, we got a couple of waves already this morning. You see the number on the bottom of the screen. Feel free to reach out at any time. China will own us. We need to produce and utilize our own energy sources. Stay free. Yes, we talked about that with the Assemblyman on Friday. Here's another comment from a viewer. Recently, Tioga County was in the news locally due to the influx of undocumented immigrants, and we're now hearing about the DSS help program allowing hiring without the need to take and pass a civil service exam, as I had to in the past. Just wondering if there's any correlation. Coincidence? Why only a 12-month temporary gig? Perhaps just enough time to process and place individuals. So thank you for all of the comments. I hate to start. Oh, let me do a little bit of housekeeping here for just a second. Tomorrow on the program, because obviously today is a big day. Now, Iowa caucuses, the kickoff to the presidential election season, really. That is today. So tomorrow on the program, we're going to be talking with former Congressman Joe Sempolinski. He's the chairman of the Steuben County GOP. We'll be talking with Joe Sempolinski tomorrow to kind of weigh in what happened. We're going to look a little bit later on in the program and look at what the polls are saying. They are, if you've been paying attention to the news, and I know I keep bringing this up on the program, but they are definitely setting a very high bar for former President Trump, suggesting that he could perhaps get over 50% of the vote. That's what the kind of the secret number is. They wonder if he'll break the 50. So we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. On a sad note, I know we have a lot of people that watch classic sitcoms on this that watch this program as well. Well, Joyce Randolph, Trixie from The Honeymooners, has passed away at the age of 99. She was the last member of The Honeymooners still alive. Randolph reportedly died peacefully Saturday in her sleep in her New York City home due to the effects of old age, her son told TMZ. According to the outlet, the last surviving member of the hit television show had been in hospice care at the time of her death and was unable to walk. The Michigan native, who was born in 1924, got her acting start when she moved to New York City in 1950 to star in a Broadway show called Ladies' Night in a Turkish Bath before moving into TV. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Randolph was initially tapped to star in the iconic television show after Jackie Gleason, who played Brooklyn bus driver Rolf Cramden on the show, saw her doing a commercial for chewing gum and asked her to be a part of his variety show Cavalcade of Stars. So Joyce Randolph passing away at the age of 99, the last member of that iconic, classic sitcom, The Honeymooners. You watch that show and it's kind of interesting because so many sitcoms since have stolen so many of the plot lines for The Honeymooners. There's only like 28 or 29 episodes. It wasn't, you might be surprised by that because there's always so many marathons on. But yeah, there's only, I want to say 29. It's the end of an era, one user posted on Twitter. Another chapter of the golden age of television officially comes to a close with the passing of Joyce Randolph. So long, Trixie, and thank you. And finally, one other person commenting, farewell to the last star of one of the greatest and most enduring sitcoms of all time. The late actress is survived by her son, Randy, so his name would be Randy Randolph, who revealed that his mother will be cremated and that in lieu of flowers, those wishing to honor Randolph's memory should donate to the Entertainment Community Fund. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit here. I got to take my first break, but we're going to talk a little bit about some New York State issues. We have a couple press releases from our Congressman Nick Langworthy, so that's coming up in just a little bit as well. And then we're going to talk about Iowa. What do you think is going to be the case? Now, as I've said numerous times on this program, if Trump doesn't break 50%, they'll say it was a huge loss for him. If Nikki Haley does anything close to what the polls are showing her at right now, maybe a little bit higher, then they'll call her the big winner going into New Hampshire. That's my prediction. What do you think? What do you see for tonight in Iowa? But let's take our first break. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Wow. Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now is the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry, the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use, and only enhances your hot tub experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be Hesselson's Hot Tub. Remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
This right here is confidence
spread fast.
Makes me feel so
especially
much more
with respiratory illness
than I've ever felt.
Like
they are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos
but there are
claiming
things we can
to
do to stay
instantly
healthy.
get rid of bags under
Wash
your
your
eyes.
hands.
Annette Figueroa
Cover
is here
your
to
sneezes
tell
and
us why
coughs.
she says
Consider wearing a mask in public.
This one is for real, and I'm so
And make sure
excited.
you
We
and
even
your
have a
kids
video,
are
and
up
all
to date
it
on your
uses is a
flu and
small
COVID
amount on a
shots.
clean, dry face. And what it does is
Talk
it
to your child's
tightens
healthcare
and lifts
provider
the
today.
appearance of
And make
bags
sure your kids
underneath
are up
your
to date
eyes.
with
And
all
I did this to my
vaccinations.
father. We were
Today
we
on
applied it to
Fox.
the
The kings of the lanes lay everything on the line for a major.
Touch it! He's got it! Tremendous! Belmo adds to his legacy!
This is where names become legends and legends become champions. The PGA Players Championship Finals today at 5 Eastern on your screen.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Acom. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. I looked it up during break. There were 39 episodes of The Honeymooners produced. If you're just joining us, Trixie has passed away from The Honeymooners at the age of 99, Joyce Randolph. New York's governor, Kathy Hochul, says the playoff game between the Steelers and the Bills, quote, will not be pushed back again, despite an ongoing travel ban in the area around Highmark Stadium and Orchard Park. Did you see all the fans out there cleaning off the stadium? The wildcard game is scheduled for 4:30 today, after originally being planned for 1 yesterday. The decision to push back the game was announced early Saturday afternoon. So just want to highlight that for you. I know we have a lot of Bills fans out there. Okay, Congressman Nick Langworthy, I wanted to put this up. He sent this on Friday. They're holding a FEMA grant seminar. That's Federal Emergency Management Agency. It's to assist firefighters with grants this year. And you can sign up there. You can just scan that with your phone. It will be held on the 17th at 6:30 p.m. and is for any volunteer or professional fire departments, EMS, or other organizations that may be eligible for this grant program. Also, speaking of the congressman, he announced on Friday over $2.6 million for Arnett Ogden Medical Center in Chemung County. Quote, in the face of unprecedented weather emergencies, ensuring safety and access to medical care in our community is paramount, said Congressman Langworthy. The $2.6 million FEMA grant for Arnett Ogden Medical Center marks a critical investment in emergency generators, reinforcing our commitment to saving lives and upholding patient care, especially during challenging winter storms. This funding is a lifeline for this hospital, ensuring its resilience and capacity to navigate unforeseen circumstances with unwavering dedication. So there you go. There's a couple of things we had to catch up on. Let's talk about Iowa. Now, it's going to be cold. That is the big question, if it will affect voter turnout. The chase for the Republican presidential nomination begins today with the Iowa caucus. The Des Moines Register, NBC News poll, showed Trump holding at 48%. Now, that's down a little bit. He was at 51% at one point. Nikki Haley at 20%. And yes, Ron DeSantis now in third at 16%. Two candidates who will be looking to prove they can claw back support from the former president. The weather could play a big factor. This is why I mentioned it. The state is shivering under ridiculously cold temperatures. Wind chill could dip to between minus 35 and minus 45 degrees Fahrenheit, which could affect turnout in a process that requires in-person voting. Now, only two incumbents, listen to this, only two non-incumbents who won the GOP Iowa caucus have gone on to be the party's nominee. All the others have won New Hampshire. So we're going to take a look at Iowa. Nikki Haley did overtake Ron DeSantis. That was kind of the big story. Not really a surprise. She'll have some momentum most likely if she gets around that 20%. Going into New Hampshire, they've been pushing her, those in the media, as really the only never Trump response, if you will, or no, anti-Trump candidate that stands a chance. DeSantis, story after story, has been downplaying his candidacy and saying, "Oh, he's gonna bail out after Iowa, or he's just behind so far." So he needs to have a very good day if he stands any chance to remain in it. So we're going to talk about that when we come back as well. But I am running a little bit late. Stay with us. We got a lot to cover this morning. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Wow. It's time to stock up on your favorite New York wines at GCP Discount Liquors and Wines in Horseheads. GCP Discount Liquors and Wines has the largest selection of Finger Lakes wines in the Southern Tier, all under one roof. Whether you're looking for Lakewood, Wagner, Wise, or Haslett 1852 Vineyards, GCP Discount Liquors and Wines is your convenient one-stop shop for these great wineries and more, all at the area's lowest prices. Shop GCP Discount Liquors and Wines in Horseheads, the best in service, selection, and price.
Attention, if you or a loved one regularly used hair relaxers or straighteners and were diagnosed with uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, you may be entitled to significant compensation.
I've used hair relaxers for years. I had no idea they could cause cancer.
Chemical hair relaxers and straighteners have been linked to serious conditions, including several types of cancer. If you used hair relaxers and now have uterine, ovarian, or endometrial cancer, call now to see if you qualify. There's no fee unless we win your case.
You need a fan, but they're bulky, awkward, and never put the breeze exactly where you want it. Introducing my fold-away fan from Bell & Howell, the compact cordless fan that unfolds into your own personal wind machine and extends to nearly 4 feet high. Its lightweight, portable design makes it easier than ever to have a targeted breeze anywhere. Plus, this whisper-quiet fan has 3 separate speeds, making personalizing your comfort a breeze. My fold-away fan's rechargeable lithium battery lasts up to 10 hours, and it has enough power to blast a breeze to the other side of this room. Its unique telescoping stand allows you to place it on the floor, so the breeze will reach anywhere with ease. Then the whole thing folds away for easy storage. Get my fold-away fan from Bell & Howell for just 2 payments of $19.99. It comes with the USB cable to make charging fast and easy. My fold-away fan. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-349-4156. That's 1-800-349-4156 or go to myfoldawayfan.com.
Begging you to take my help and you're not.
Fox Monday.
Oh my God.
We saved the grossest.
Is that?
And most dramatic transformations.
I'll do whatever it takes to keep it going.
For the 2-hour season finale.
This is not good. Oh my God. All I want to do now is get the hell out of here.
Tonight. We are back with Frankly Speaking, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. So there's quite a discrepancy in Nikki Haley's numbers, now at second place according to the polls in Iowa. But if you look at the lack of enthusiasm, it says they are only mildly enthusiastic, 49%, up from 39% in December, or not that enthusiastic at 12%. Quote, her enthusiasm numbers, again, I just think are on the edge of jaw-dropping. That 61% are just mildly enthusiastic or not that enthusiastic at all. It just seems odd with a candidate moving up. Well, she's kind of really been told to us, or been sold to us, I should say, as the alternative to Trump, that she's the only one that stands a chance, and then they keep leaking these articles suggesting that DeSantis might drop out after Iowa. Well, if that story leaks and you're in Iowa, what motivates you to go out and vote for a guy who may drop out after Iowa? So really the media out to get DeSantis and really out to prop up Nikki Haley. So again, I think no matter what happens, whenever the smoke clears tonight, they'll have Nikki Haley being the big winner. Even if she's 30 points away from Trump, it'll be a good night for her. and a bad night for Trump, no matter how they try to spin it, is how they'll try to spin it. Excuse me. At CNN, what to watch for from the Iowa caucuses. Again, tomorrow we'll be dissecting all of this with former Congressman Joe Sempolinski. But will Trump top the 50%? So if he tops 50%, they can't really deny the fact that he had a big night. The big question about Trump's performance isn't just whether he will win, but whether he will do so in a fashion that demonstrates the GOP electorate has no appetite for a Trump alternative. Trump remains a clear favorite to win the Republican presidential nomination for a third consecutive election. What's less clear is whether the road to the nomination will get more difficult after Iowa. Haley and DeSantis are still jockeying to see who's left standing to take a one-on-one shot at Trump. But major donors and party officials who'd be interested in backing the winner of the race for second place will also be watching to gauge whether Trump is vulnerable at all. So you can kind of see the writing on the wall of how they're trying to twist it. Now, the race that many people are going to be watching is for second place. The most important question Monday night might be who finishes second and whether that candidate does so in a decisive fashion. National polls of likely Republican voters show Trump with the same commanding lead he's held for months. Well, they have it at, the Des Moines Register has him at 48%, where he was at 51% in December. But even if it's a long shot, a path for Haley to seriously challenge Trump has emerged in recent weeks. A win in New Hampshire, where a recent CNN poll showed her within single digits of the former president, followed by another strong performance in her home state of South Carolina, setting up a one-on-one race by March in time for Super Tuesday contests, in which huge shares of delegates will be awarded. So we're going to be talking a lot about that this morning, as well as throughout the week. But does Iowa narrow the field? Will a Ramaswamy perhaps drop out after this? Will DeSantis? I think it was it The Hill or was it Politico? They quoted anonymous sources to say if he doesn't have a great showing, he will drop out after Iowa. It could just be a plant. It could just be to create that kind of confusion or plant that seed in people's mind that he's done. But it'll be interesting to see how well, because Iowa voters would be more Trump-esque, DeSantis-esque than Nikki Haley. But in 2012, former Minnesota Representative Michelle Bachmann dropped out after finishing sixth. In 2016, two former Iowa winners, Rick Santorum and Mike Huckabee, exited after disappointing performances, as did, I forgot he was in it, Senator Rand Paul. So will we see, well, there's no one really else to drop out other than Ramaswamy, maybe DeSantis or Haley, depending on what happens tonight. It'll be a test of Trump's evangelical support, according to CNN. And how much does organizing matter? Again, this is from CNN. We build a great army here. Tomorrow is going to be fun for us, said DeSantis. Haley, meanwhile, had a much later start in building an Iowa operation, but was aided by the support of the Koch-funded Americans for Prosperity Action, an influential political group that endorsed her in November. So we're going to talk about some endorsements here in just a little bit, but that's just your quick overview. This is a good point. If I recall, Ted Cruz did this to Ben Carson during the 2016 campaign season, and I think it hurt not only Dr. Carson but himself as well, and he was a strong candidate. Yeah, that is a good point. You start planting those anonymous sources out there, and it could hurt a campaign. I mean, if you're in Iowa and you say, wait a minute, I like DeSantis, but they're telling me that he might drop out, why would I waste my vote? It's not the kind of coverage that you want if you're DeSantis, excuse me. Now, they are going to have to deal tonight with that freezing cold weather. What did I say? It could be all the way down to minus 45, which almost seems impossible. But it must be dispiriting to drive through blizzards across Iowa all week, only to see Donald Trump drop in at the last minute and effortlessly coast to record poll numbers while pulling a standing room only crowd of passionate voters to his one event. I've never even given anyone else a second thought, said a local truck driver wearing his not guilty t-shirt. That's the grim reality of Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley as they keep grinding away to win over small crowds and compete for second place with roughly 1/5 of the vote apiece. According to the fabled Des Moines Register, this is the poll that I keep talking about on the eve of the vote, Trump is at a record 48%, while Haley has jumped to second place with 20%, and DeSantis at a demoralizing 16%, despite putting all his eggs in the Iowa basket. This is from Miranda Devine at the New York Post. Not that the Florida governor was conceding anything on Saturday afternoon when he showed up at his West Des Moines campaign headquarters for a pep rally with 150 volunteers and supporters crammed into the office space. I'd much rather be an underdog, he said, describing the polls as fake and not reflective of the enthusiasm his team sees on the ground for what they are pitching as a new generation, or an upgrade, if you will, of Trump. So that's a quick overview of what we're dealing with today. Blizzards, cold weather, and we're going to talk all about the results on tomorrow's program with former Congressman Joe Sempolinski. But we've got to take another short break. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Looks like y'all got a lot of stuff here in your water.
You're never going to believe it, but this can filter up to 60 different contaminants from your water.
It's all about cleaner drinking water.
Dude, that's good water.
And that's good water.
Now that's good water.
That's good water, eh?
No matter where you live, there's a Culligan water expert nearby. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready, we're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
If you struggle to keep up with conversations, if you have trouble hearing the TV or radio, Nano Hearing Aids wants to help you hear better. Because when you hear better, you're actually going to feel better and live a happier, even healthier life. And Nano Hearing Aids is offering not one, but two very special, possibly once-in-a-lifetime offers. Special offer number one, when you buy any Nano OTC hearing aid, Nano will give you a pair of personal sound amplifiers, absolutely free. If you have a little trouble hearing but don't need a hearing aid, these are great. Special offer two. Today, Nano is offering an amazing deal on their CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids. Today, you can order a full pair of completely in-canal Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. Plus, Nano offers great financing. Payments from only $26.81 a month, 88 cents a day. But supplies are limited, so call now.
1-800-219-0286. 1-800-219-0286.
Name something with a diamond in it.
Diamondback rattlesnake.
It's in the name. Name a low-calorie food you might make your edible underwear out of.
Salmon.
Watch it weeknights. Share it the next day.
Wild caught Norwegian teriyaki.
Sharing the fun. Weeknights on Family Feud.
7 and 7:30 on Big.
Beautiful view of Market Street. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. This is Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV, Big Fox. Nikki Haley believes that the guys, or the fellas, I should say, are scared. Quote, the fellas are scared, I'm telling you. You can see our numbers going up in the polls. Americans just want to see if it's possible. This starts with Iowa. You all know how to do this. You take this responsibility. I think President Trump was the right president at the right time, Haley said. I agree with a lot of his policies, but rightly or wrongly, chaos follows. You all know it. Chaos follows him. Now, DeSantis is, as they're putting it here, clinging on for dear life. Yeah, he's a far better candidate after touring Iowa's 99 counties. DeSantis is doing it the old-fashioned way, holding events in small towns and appealing to voters who see Haley as too liberal and who are tired of Trump's cacophony. The governor showed up. He's not dodging debates. He's working hard, trying to earn people's vote, said Texas Representative Chip Roy, who drove from St. Louis in a blizzard to join his friend in Iowa. DeSantis is now pinning his hope on a turnout effort that his team has spent months building. Yes, this is exciting times, folks. This is when we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. But, you know, I think this is maybe one of the problems. This is coming from Yahoo News, or actually Bloomberg. Trump's lofty Iowa expectations set a high bar for a big victory. Well, that's what I think the real fear is that the bar has been set so high. So if he doesn't break close to 50%, they're going to say it was a big loss for him, that Nikki Haley is making headway. The outcome of Monday's Iowa caucus, the first fight in the quest for the GOP nomination, looks to be in little doubt. Trump's campaign hopes a decisive win can force DeSantis out of the race and suffocate Haley, who is angling for a stronger showing the following week in New Hampshire. Clearing the field would let Trump focus on a general election clash with President Biden, as well as his numerous legal battles. Now, we know that Chris Christie backed out, Wednesday, I believe, of last week. So it's just down to the four of them. And Ramaswamy, I don't think, has made any headway. I see that Trump was actually going after Ramaswamy over the weekend. You are asking someone to go to a political meeting at 7 p.m. at night when it has been dark at night for 2 hours. It's 7 degrees outside and there's snow on the ground, said Craig Robinson, former political director of the Republican Party of Iowa. Trump has a large, energetic base of supporters, but his pitch no longer feels as new as it did in 2016. When you first started dating someone, nothing will keep you away, said Robinson. Trump doesn't have that anymore. Interesting. So obviously trying to set that bar very high so that the media can run with the fact that it was a huge loss for Trump. But the frigid forecast could play into it. Coldest caucus weather in decades. They're looking at -5 in Des Moines, Cedar Rapids -6, Sioux City -5. Now, the final Iowa poll before the caucuses is set to be released. I already mentioned that earlier. Caucus night temperatures in areas across the state are expected to dip to single-digit negatives, a chill the state hasn't experienced in at least 4 decades on a caucus night. Arctic air will continue to bring dangerous cold temperatures and wind chills today through Tuesday. Wind chills are expected to fall to between -35 and -45 degrees. Axios' Alex Thompson points out that the extreme weather could hurt Trump because many of his supporters are in rural areas where it'll be harder to travel to a caucus site. And given expectations, lots of people could stay home, assuming Trump will win. And that's another problem with setting the bar so high. Well, we all know what's going to happen. No sense me going out on this cold night to vote. So it plays right into the media's hands on this. We're going to talk a little bit more. The whole show is not going to just be about Iowa, but just taking a look at what you need to know to prepare for tonight. CNN saying, and this is Stephen Collinson, that DeSantis is fighting for his political life along Iowa's icy campaign trail. He once looked like the Republican Party's future. Now a national career that conjured White House dreams is in danger of fizzling before it really began. His plight is not just about a rising Republican star's struggle to adapt to the biggest stage with political skills that initially were not ready for prime time. It's a revealing story about the GOP itself, its fixation with former President Donald Trump, and whether grassroots Republicans really want the efficient conservative government DeSantis promises or prefer the ex-president's furious brew of grievance and spectacle. Well, did they ever say that about the current president, the furious brew of grievance? I mean, his speeches have been very negative, very doom and gloom, very divisive. DeSantis said they can throw a blizzard at us, and we're going to fight. They could throw a wind chill at us, and we're going to fight. They could throw media narratives at us, and we're going to fight. They could throw fake polls at us, and we are going to fight, he said Saturday. It'll be interesting. Could, CNN asks, DeSantis spring a surprise? He's really not that far off, according to that last poll. Nikki Haley was at 20, and he's at 16%. So if you've got low turnout, you could see a scenario where he might do better than expected. So let's, we got to take another short break, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think happens tonight in Iowa? Who becomes, in the media's mind, the winner? I think it will be Nikki Haley. Not that she'll win, but that's just going to be the media narrative. They've already got the articles written to make her the success story in Iowa and be able to attack Trump because they want her to have the momentum going into New Hampshire, where she does have the potential of winning. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. I do have some other updates as well, so you'll have to stay with us. I'm going to take a break so we don't run too far behind. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
If you struggle to keep up with conversations, if you have trouble hearing the TV or radio, Nano Hearing Aids wants to help you hear better. Because when you hear better, you're actually going to feel better and live a happier, even healthier life. And Nano Hearing Aids is offering not one, but 2 very special, possibly once-in-a-lifetime offers. Special offer number 1, when you buy any Nano OTC hearing aid, Nano will give you a pair of personal sound amplifiers absolutely free. If you have a little trouble hearing but don't need a hearing aid, these are great. Special offer 2. Today, Nano is offering an amazing deal on their CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids. Today, you can order a full pair of completely in-canal Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. Plus, Nano offers great financing. Payments from only $26.81 a month. That's around 88 cents a day. But supplies are limited, so call now.
1-800-759-6001.
The Nano CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids are extremely easy to use, and they're nearly invisible. And since they're completely in canal, nothing shows on the back of your ear. So most people will never even see them. And today you can purchase a pair of fully rechargeable CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. This is one amazing deal, but Nano has a second incredible deal. Because when you buy a Nano CIC Recharge at the low price of $297, Nano will give you a pair of Nano personal sound amplifiers free. So you'll get both a pair of OTC hearing aids and a pair of personal sound amplifiers for only $297. That's $297 for both. Payments on the CIC Recharge start at $26.81 a month. That's 88 cents a day. But remember, supplies are limited. Once they're gone, this offer is gone and will not be repeated. So call now.
1-800-759-6001. 1-800-759-6001.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, I'd mentioned that Trump turned on Ramaswamy over the weekend. Vote for Trump. Don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA, he said. Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter. Unfortunately, now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks. Very sly. But a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this. So there was some speculation that Ramaswamy could be his second. It could be his VP pick. Looks like that went out the window. Trump aide Jason Miller said voters could probably rule out Ramaswamy as the ex-president's running mate. The former president accused Ramaswamy of being sly, having deceitful campaign tricks, and not being MAGA. Pretty safe to say it won't be Vivek, Miller said. That's again Jason Miller. The biotech mogul has previously said he is not a Plan B person, while Trump said in August that Ramaswamy would be a very good vice president. A little bit of change there. Nikki Haley brushes off Trump, calling her not tough enough, and says he knows he's in trouble. What did she say? The fellas are getting scared. Everybody that's ever worked for me or worked with me, no one ever questions my toughness, Haley said. He's saying this because now he knows he's in trouble. Now he knows that this is becoming a two-person race. So I know that he knows the truth. It doesn't bother me at all. At an Iowa campaign stop, Trump told supporters, Nikki did a good job. She was okay, but she's not right to be president. I know her very well. The wrong thought process, the wrong policy. And honestly, she's not tough enough. She's not tough enough. These are tough people we're dealing with. Again, the polls showing that Trump is at, 48%, Nikki Haley at 20%, and DeSantis at 16%. Just to show you, and you know I've been saying this for a while, and it's not to knock Nikki Haley necessarily, but all the people that are supporting her are people that really don't want to see Republicans win. And then you've got this guy who has been wrong throughout 2016 and throughout the years. Bill Kristol, do you know that name? He's a political commentator. I mean, he said back when Trump won that Trump would be out before Christmas, that he wouldn't make it to Iowa. I mean, you could tell this guy has gotten just about everything wrong that he could. He said, I'm an ex-Republican, but if I were an Iowan, I'd be crossing back over to vote for Haley Monday. Voting against Trump in Republican caucuses and primaries is the most effective way and a legal and legitimate way to oppose Trump this winter and spring. Kristol has been a long, bitter opponent of Trump ever since Trump traded insults with then-Senator John McCain in 2015, long before he openly called for voters to change party affiliations to influence primaries and caucuses. Kristol called the re-election of Donald Trump a threat to democracy. Kristol's disconnect with Republican voters has become increasingly apparent. Despite leaving the Republican Party, Kristol leads a group called Republicans for Ukraine, which advocates tens of billions of dollars in additional aid for the Ukrainian war effort against Russia, an increasingly unpopular position for Republican voters. Rand Paul tweeting out, forever neocon, former Cheney Republican Bill Kristol says vote Nikki. Need I say anything more? All right, how are we doing on time? We're doing good. Okay. So what do you think tonight's going to look like in Iowa? It's a big one. Trump did land the endorsement, this is kind of strange, of Governor Doug Burgum, one of his campaign rivals, who dropped out quite a while ago, if I'm not mistaken. After Trump invited him to speak on stage at Sunday's rally, Burgum announced his support for the 45th president. 4 years ago, I was speaking on behalf of President Trump at the Iowa caucuses in Sioux City, and today I'm here to do something that none of the other presidential primary candidates have done, and that's endorsed Donald J. Trump for the President of the United States of America. Burgum said that when the former president assumed office in 2017, heartland states, including Iowa and North Dakota, were respected. He had a friend and a partner in the White House who understood us and who wanted to see our state succeed versus being regulated out of business. Now I've had a chance as governor to see what the world is like under Joe Biden, and America needs a 180-degree change in the direction of where Joe Biden has taken us. Marco Rubio also endorsed Trump ahead of Iowa, which is interesting. I never really thought about where Marco Rubio would stand on Trump. When Trump was in the White House, I achieved major policies I'd worked on for years, like expanding child tax credits and tough sanctions on regimes in China and Venezuela. Because we had a president who didn't cave to special interests or let bureaucrats block us, I support Trump. I support Trump because this kind of leadership is the only way we will get the extraordinary actions needed to fix the disaster Biden has created. It's time to get on with the work of beating Biden and saving America. So that's Marco Rubio. Now, Donald Trump did advertise against Nikki Haley over the weekend. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Man, we're going through a lot of things, aren't we? How am I doing on time? I'm doing just okay. Don't forget, tomorrow on the program, we will be talking with former Congressman Joe Semplinsky. He'll join us to kind of look at what happened in Iowa, take a look at what that could mean towards New Hampshire, and then we're looking at in March, Super Tuesday. So we'll have a nice conversation with Joe Semplinsky. It's not too late to get your questions in if you have any questions for the former congressman. Here's a comment from a viewer. Sometimes I wonder if some Democrats understand what democracy means. Good question. We've seen Trump, the attempt of taking Trump off the ballot in the name of protecting democracy, the irony there. Now, Donald Trump, as I mentioned, did advertise on MSNBC in New Hampshire to slow Haley's rise there, doing well in New Hampshire. Haley's plan cuts Social Security benefits for 82% of Americans, the advertisement said. Trump will never let that happen. Haley has opposed raising the retirement age for younger workers, but says those nearing the current retirement age shouldn't be affected by her proposed changes, something the ad does not know. We go to the people like my kids in their 20s, and they're coming in the system, and we say the rules have changed, she said last year. So it is, I don't know, will it be that's a question I'll ask you. Will it be a two-person race after Iowa? I know The Hill, I believe it was, speculating that DeSantis would drop out after Iowa. I think that might have been just a plant to get that, take away any kind of momentum that he was getting at that point. Because how many people, if you're a DeSantis supporter, are now going to say, well, it's cold, or I'm not going to go out and bother voting if he's going to drop out anyway. Here's another comment from a viewer. The only actual threat to democracy in the last decade has been the actions that the Democrat Party has taken. On that note, we got to get another short break. We're going to talk, the attack mode on Trump. We're going to get away from Iowa for just a moment. We've got a bunch of things we're going to get to quickly, kind of hop around here just a little bit. But again, get your questions in for Joe Sempolinski, who will be our guest tomorrow as we talk about Iowa and what to look forward to in New Hampshire. But stay with us. This is, Frankly Speaking, here on WYDC TV. Big Fox will be right back.
Was your premature baby fed a cow's milk baby formula such as Similac or Enfamil? If so, your child may be entitled to significant financial compensation. Evidence shows that cow's milk formulas increase the risk of NEC in premature babies, causing severe harm and even death. If your child was born premature and suffers from NEC, intestinal perforations, sepsis, cerebral palsy, or died as a result, you may have the right to sue for significant financial compensation. Call now for a free case review.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks are a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen One, the portable oxygen concentrator you can take almost anywhere.
With this little device, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
The Inogen One is so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen One for 30 days completely risk-free. Give us a call right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days completely risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen One system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 1-800-929-7290. Again, that's 1-800-929-7290.
Getting aerial video for a commercial used to be extremely expensive, but not anymore. WYDC TV Big Fox now offers the Twin Tiers amazing aerial video for your business. We do it with our state-of-the-art drone and commercially licensed aerial pilot. Beautiful HD aerial video and pictures custom-made for your commercial. Call or email now to advertise on Big Fox TV and let everyone see your business in a whole new way.
And we are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. To that viewer's point that weighed in on democracy, Rich Lowry has an interesting piece. We're not going to be able to get to all of it, but here's the absolute proof Joe Biden doesn't care about democracy. Joe Biden went to Valley Forge to give a big speech telling us how he cares about defending democracy against the threat represented by Donald Trump. How much does President Biden care? Enough to give a speech defending democracy, one of what's sure to be many if Trump is his opponent. Biden's alarm about the precariousness of the American system, though, will never translate into actions he wouldn't otherwise want to take. To wit, if Joe Biden were, as a matter of principle, devoted to defending democracy at all costs, the first thing he would do would step aside for some younger, more capable, less radioactive Democrat with a much better chance at beating Trump. And he even admitted that there's other people out there that could beat Trump. So why is he running? It's too late, really, now to have a new candidate. Biden taking this step would be politically electric, underlining how serious he takes Trump's challenge to the Republic and perhaps proving to some skeptics that his rhetoric about defending democracy is more than simply rhetoric. Biden made much in his speech. It probably could have been written by an 8th grader in an AP government class of a painting in the U.S. Capitol of George Washington resigning his commission. Anyway, you can find that piece for yourself at the New York Post. How am I doing on time? I'm doing good. Okay. Here's an interesting piece. Huge grocery bills slams shoppers who get no relief from cooling inflation. Americans are furious as they continue to get crushed by high grocery store bills despite inflation nearing pre-COVID levels, according to a new survey. The latest Axio Vibe Check survey of 2,120 adults in December revealed that about 72% of respondents felt inflation was still hitting hard at the grocery store. Now, there's a piece last week we didn't have a chance to get to, but they said Bidenomics is going nowhere, that they're going to use that talking point, Bidenomics. Well, this is what we've been talking about. They can tell us that the economy's great, but when we go to the grocery store, when we fill up our gas tank, we know what we're dealing with here. Nearly 60% also said that they feel anger, anxiousness, and resignation whenever they shop for groceries as they struggle to make their budgets work. The negative feeling at the grocery store comes as food prices remain stubbornly high despite inflation plummeting since reaching a 4-decade high of 9.1% last summer. The Bureau of Labor Statistics found that in December, the cost of groceries were still on the incline, with the cost of cereals and bakery products up 2.6% and fruits and vegetables up 0.3% since last year. The price of eggs also shot up to 8.9% from November, which was fueled not only by inflation, but by the effects of bird flu that is once again ravaging the industry. This means that Americans who spent $100 on their grocery bill in 2019 would be spending about $125.51 on the same amount of food in December, according to that data. So they can keep trying to tell us Bidenomics doing great. I just don't think it'll stick. I don't think it'll work. We got to take another short break. Stay with us. This is, Frankly Speaking, here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. We've got a lot to cover. We're going to breeze through as much as we possibly can, so stay right there.
Start the new year out with a bright new smile from Watkins Glen and Elmira Family Dentistry. Give them an hour of your time and they'll give you that bright smile you've always wanted. No light, no gimmicks, no wipes, and absolutely no application by yourself. Sit back and relax in one of their beautiful offices and let their licensed dental professionals apply the product for you. With their New Year special, every new whitening patient receives a free dental checkup if so desired.
Tired pan that always sticks. It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before. Hammered pans are ultra non-stick and they're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie or this whole chicken dinner. Use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips right out. Plus the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop 1 payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-608-1538 or go to buyhammered.com.
We are back, Frankly Speaking, here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. Thank you so much for joining us again. As a reminder, tomorrow on the program, we'll be talking with former Congressman, Joe Sempolinski. He'll tell us what we can expect for New Hampshire and what looks like the race after today's vote in Iowa. How's this for attacks on Trump? Fears grow that Trump will use the military in dictatorial ways if he returns to the White House. Donald Trump is sparking fears among those who understand the inner workings of the Pentagon that he would convert the nonpartisan U.S. military into the muscular arm of his political agenda as he makes comments about dictatorships and devalues the checks and balances that underpin the nation's 2-century-old democracy. This is from NBC News, so you can see the way that they're going strong against Trump. Hey, Elizabeth Warren, we were just talking about inflation. Well, Elizabeth Warren believes that Congress should be making more. Maybe they're struggling as well. Elizabeth Warren is backing a pay raise for members of Congress. Everyone working in government should be paid more. she said, Congress should not be the plaything of multimillionaires and billionaires who've already secured their fortunes and don't care about earning a living to support their families. Like others, Warren cited the unique costs that come with being a member of Congress, including the need to maintain 2 homes in 2 different parts of the country. I understand that no one wants to waste taxpayer dollars, but Congress needs to be more realistic about what it takes to attract the top people to public service across the board and how to keep them engaged throughout their careers. Republican Representative Patrick McHenry of North Carolina made a similar point in an interview last week, and Democrat Representative AOC of New York has long been vocal on the issue. Since 2009, members of the House and Senate have been paid an annual salary of $174,000. Though that's more than 80% of American households, what they make, it's a salary that hasn't kept pace with inflation and one that has left members of Congress unable to pay the bills at times, given the demand of the job. The United States government runs right now on voluntary contributions of Washington staffers who could be making twice the money working half the hours on the private side, Warren said, who even made increasing congressional pay a part of her 2020 presidential campaign. So what do you think? Do you feel bad for those in Washington at a mere $174,000 a year? They just can't survive. We've got more to get to. We've got one more break to take, and then we're going to wrap things up here on Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
Attention, this is an important message for firefighters, members of the military, and airport workers. For decades, first responders and firefighters at military bases and airports used a chemical-based foam to fight fires. Studies have shown that chemicals used to make aqueous film-forming foam, or AFFF, are highly toxic to humans and have been associated with several types of cancer. If you or someone you know was diagnosed with any of those cancers, call now for a free case review.
This place is buzzing now. You can't guard against that, Gus. To the bucket. Oh! Nicely done. We got a ball game going on, folks.
Talk about some nuggets. Young fella, don't hurt him. Oh!
Today, it's a huge doubleheader on Fox.
It's a season of Sherry.
Having a good time has always been my #1 goal. I tend to get crazy. At my age, I should not be jumping up and down like that. And if you don't know what I mean, ask your mama. The young ones, y'all like, we don't know what you're talking about. But I promise you, in 30 years, you will.
It's the best time in daytime.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on Big Fox.
We are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox received some comments during break. DeSantis will probably drop out to be the VP running mate to Haley. That's interesting. If you recall, Ted Cruz, when he was running against Trump, he did pick his VP candidate, Carly Fiorina, to kind of build momentum for him. Interesting point. In my opinion, Vivek would have been one of the top picks for Trump. Unfortunately, Trump will probably pick someone who won't compete for his limelight. I'm thinking it will be a quiet, soft-spoken runner like Pence. That's a good point. Here's another comment. Sorry, Frank, I just can't muster up sympathy for Warren. Yes, and a.k.a. Pocahontas. Remember, that was the nickname that Trump gave her. Yes, I know it's hard to feel bad for those making $174,000 to be in Washington. Good points, everyone. Hey, a piece by Carl Campanelli in New York Post, and it's about Senator Rand Paul. Rand Paul said, I guess over the weekend, that Dr. Anthony Fauci deserves to go to prison over his dishonesty on COVID-19 origins. Dr. Anthony Fauci should, quote, go to prison for mishandling the the COVID-19 pandemic and making the worst decision ever made by a public health official in the history of time. That's an exact quote from Senator Rand Paul. History should judge him as a deficient person, who made one of the worst decisions in public health history, in the entire history of the world. For his dishonesty, frankly, he should go to prison. Do you think the scientific knowledge that was gained from this research was worth the deaths of 20 million people. And that's about that Wuhan, China lab. The Government Accountability Office issued a report in June of 2023 that found the National Institute of Health had contributed more than $1.4 million to Chinese research institutions between 2014 and 2019, despite serious biosafety concerns, including at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. So interesting. Yeah, we're going to go through a couple things here quickly. I know someone asked me to mention this on Friday. I didn't have a chance. We were joined by Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. But Georgia's district attorney, that scandal, she says, Fannie Willis says that the accusations of an affair with the Trump prosecutor are racially motivated. They only attacked one, Fannie Willis said, at Big Bethel AME Church in Atlanta. First thing they say, oh, she's going to play the race card now. But no, isn't it them that's playing the race card when they only question one? The comments were Willis's first time addressing the allegations publicly, but she neither confirmed nor denied the claims lobbed at her and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade, who helped secure an indictment against the former Republican president in an election interference case. She called Wade a great friend and a great lawyer, along with a superstar, but failed to mention him by name once during her more than 30-minute speech. House Speaker Mike Johnson, I know I'm going through things quickly here, calls to fire any federal worker who takes part in a planned walkout over Gaza policy. Federal employees deserve to be fired if they participate in a planned walkout to protest President Biden's handling of Israel's war against Hamas. House Speaker Mike Johnson said Sunday the Louisiana Republican made the statement on X, commenting on a news article that reported workers in at least 22 agencies plan to protest Biden's policy involving Gaza by joining the work stoppage on Tuesday. Any government worker who walks off the job to protest U.S. support for our ally Israel is ignoring their responsibility and abusing the trust of taxpayers, Johnson said. They deserve to be fired. He vowed to work with fellow Republicans, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, to ensure that each federal agency initiates appropriate disciplinary proceedings against any person who walks out of their job. Now, it is said, this is coming from Axios, that President Biden is running out of patience with Benjamin Netanyahu as the Gaza war hits 100 days. The situation stinks and we're stuck. The president's patience is running out, said one U.S. official. Biden hasn't spoken to Netanyahu in the 20 days since the tense December 23rd call, which a frustrated Biden ended with the words, "This conversation is over." They had spoken almost every other day in the first months up of the war. Before Biden hung up, Netanyahu had rejected his request that Israel release the Palestinian tax revenues it's withholding. I'm not sure what that means for our policy, but that is it for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Boy, we covered a lot. It was a fun Monday morning edition. Thank you to everyone who reached out, everybody that was a part of the program this morning. We got 4 waves. I appreciate that. Make sure you join us tomorrow. As I said, former Congressman Joe Sempolinski will be our guest. He's also the chairman of the Steuben County Republican Party. So if you have any questions for Joe, we're going to be picking his brain on Iowa, but we'll have a lot more to cover as well. So Joe will be our guest tomorrow starting at 7. We'll take that first break and we'll go right to Joe so we can get all the information that we can from the former congressman. Have a great day, everyone. This has been Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV. Big Fox, we will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early.
Wow, you found it.
I did.
The History of Water Part 6? I've been dying to read this.
I know, honey.
I always wanted that book.
At Culligan, we get that most people don't think about water like we do, and that's okay. You see, when we install one of our high-efficiency water softeners, we're thinking about hard water and limescale buildup, so you can just think about longer-lasting appliances and softer skin and hair. At Culligan, we think about your water, so you don't have to.
Call today to schedule your free water test.
This right here is confidence in a bottle. It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.